Hey guys, welcome to another exciting show of Hillside. I always forget. I should just kept it east to west because I can never remember the other show. But hey, I'm glad you guys are here. See, this is why we take two. All right, hey guys, welcome to another show of Hillside. It's good to have you here. I'm excited. It's Friday afternoon. Man, the snow this morning was a little rough. Where'd that come from? Snow. But you know what? I can't complain about that because my in-laws in South Dakota have gotten 75 inches of snow in the last 3 weeks. Yikes. Yeah, so, man, I'll take a little bit of this. Hopefully they can get that cleared out pretty soon and be able to start functioning again and getting out and enjoying life again. But today I just want to spend a few minutes talking to you guys about dreams. I've been thinking about that a lot. What are dreams really? I mean, some people say they're just, things in our minds that wander while we're asleep. I gotta sit up. I'm tired. All right, let's see will it stay up there? Probably not. How about if I put it no, okay. Hey, there we go. So dreams. What are dreams really? There's many songs written about them. Van Halen had a great song called, Dreams, and Aerosmith had a great song called, I think it was Dreams or something like that. But there's been many books written about dreams. How to interpret dreams, how to decipher dreams, and how to figure out what your mind is saying to you when you're sleeping or when you're, daydreaming during the day and you're thinking about just all these, endless adventures and whatever that you're thinking about. What do dreams really mean? Why do we have dreams? I think we have dreams because our mind keeps telling us, whether we want to listen to it or not, that there's always opportunities for us in our lives to improve our lives, to be adventurous, to seek out challenges and excitement. It's just crazy how sometimes you'll have a dream at night and then you'll wake up and you'll be like, man, that was crazy. It was like it was almost real. Like, have you ever had one of those falling dreams? When you're dreaming that you're falling and your body just jolts because it feels so realistic. In the Bible there was many people who had dreams and visions and saw things and didn't understand them and had people interpret them for them and they came out and they actually came true because they were more than just a dream. They were just kind of like a light that somebody turned on to this path in front of them that they needed to walk through, and it's crazy how dreams work. I love dreaming. I love dreaming about big things. I love dreaming about possibilities, of what the future holds, what it looks like, and I just think a lot of people now don't have a lot of dreams, because I think dreams lead into hope. And hope is a good thing. Hope is a wonderful thing because when you can dream and have hope in that dream and you can work through that and you can keep going through the uncertainties of a dream with hope as your guiding factor, knowing that no matter what hardships come, I'm going to keep persevering and keep going through this because I know I have hope that it's going to come true. And then when you start to have hope, then you start to have opportunities because then you start to go out and you start to find things and you start to find opportunities to help make your dreams come true. Because now you've laid down a foundation of hope, and when times get tough and times get hard, you can fall back on that hope that there's still possibilities, there's still chances, there's still opportunities. Because when you walk out a dream without hope, it could end up being a nightmare because you get discouraged easily. First setback comes along and you're like, this is it, this is too hard, I'm done, and then your life just becomes chaotic. But if you try to live out your dreams with hope, as your foundation, then like I said, then you get into opportunities, and those opportunities can lead into meaning, and it can help you decide and discover what your meaning in this big blue ball, not bulb. Somebody can turn the light off. We're not planting flowers yet. Anyway, and on this great blue ball, what your life really is meant to be, and then once you get, into that stage of your dream and you start to realize what your meaning is, then you really, I think, really get to truly experience life, because it's like you've gone through this process, and you've just kept walking it out step by step by step by step. I just think of all the great people in the world. They weren't born great. They had a dream. And they built that dream on hope. And then after a while, the hope turned into opportunities, and the opportunities that they took advantage of turned into meaning. And then they were able to really discover what their lives were really created for. And it's just awesome. I mean, it works whether you're religious or whether you're not. Does gender, doesn't matter, age, culture, whether you're funny or not. You didn't see that, good. Anyway, so, but dreams, have a dream. Sit down this weekend and try to figure out what your dream is all about. What's one dream that you've been having that you wish that could come true? For me, my dream is I'd like to do stand-up comedy one time. But I'm stuck because I don't have a lot of hope in it. But because of my own fears and irrationalities about it. But I know I'm a kind of decently funny guy, but that lack of hope has been keeping me from finding opportunities to do that, and so I just think when you have a dream, you got to first and foremost find ways to put hope into it. You got to get around guys and people and friends and family that's going to tell you, you know what, let's walk that out together. Let's see what that turns into and what that dream could be about, and how it looks in the vast scheme of your life. Sometimes dreams work out, sometimes they don't. When I was a kid, I dreamt about being a rock star. I dreamt about being a famous public television studio producer. Taken. That's taken already. You like how I did that? Yeah. I dreamt about being a doctor. I got the handwriting for it, but I ain't got the mind for it. I mean, I do have the mind for it, but I just didn't. It just, it's just like you have all these dreams and when you're young and all these aspirations, and you sit and think about, man, what am I going to do when I'm older? What can I do? You know what? I say about 80% of young kids nowadays can't answer that question, or don't have the tools to answer that question. They just like, I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know. Because a lot of their lives are not built on hope. They haven't really experienced this concept of anything's possible. And it's just they've been trapped in this mindset that they don't matter. You're not going to succeed anyway. Why even bother? I think that we are, they have the different generations, like, they had the baby boomers back in the 40s, when all the guys came back from World War II. Then they had the I don't know what, the hippie generation, where they all went to Woodstock and ate corn and such. Gotta keep it clean on this show. Not just kidding. And then you have my generation. I think mine was I don't even know what they would call the 80s generation. I think that's really what it was. Then you had the Gen X generation. I think that's how it is. Then you had the millennials. The millennials. So now, but I think unfortunately the next generation that is coming up could be labeled the why bother generation, and that's really sad, because it's like, why bother even try to do anything? Why bother try to change anything? Why bother try to discover my purpose? It's not going to happen anyway. You know, I think some people just think it's more comfortable to live in a world of hopelessness than to live in a world of opportunities, and you know, it's just struggles, you know, because Jesus says in the Bible, he says, anything is possible with me. Anything is possible. And he didn't create you to be lifeless. He didn't create you to be hopelessness. He didn't create you to struggle with your whatever. He created you with a design and a purpose and a dream and a meaning. And, you know, when we can tap into that and we can help other people tap into that, I think it's just a great thing. You know, it's just wonderful. You know, one of the more powerful verses in the Bible that I think gives me meaning, it's really kind of my fight song, you know, and if you just read it, it's kind of like, yeah, it's Matthew 25:35, you know, where everybody's standing in front of Jesus and and he separates them, and he separates those that have done, and those that have not done. And he says to them, you know, thank you for going out and taking care of people and doing this, because you really did it for me. And I'm paraphrasing here. But they said, when did we see you? And he said, when you went out and you took care of the sick, and you visited those in prison, and you took care of the orphan and the widows, you know, you did that for me. You know, when you did it to the least of those, you did it for me. Now that's how most people picture it. All right, it's about to get loud in here, Ethan. I'm sorry, brother. But here's how I picture it. Here's how I picture God saying. He's saying, man, when you went out and visited the sick, when you went out and took care of that brother of mine that had cancer, and when you went out and took care and sat with that sister of mine that was struggling with abuse or depression or an addiction or whatever, and you sat down with that young kid and you said, you know what, there's hope in your life. When you went to that guy who was locked up mentally because of just stuff in his head, you did that for me. You know, it's not just some willy-nilly, oh, hey, pat on the back kind of verse for me. It's a, hey, you did it, and you saw me because you did that. You may not have seen me physically, but you saw me in those situations and in those lives. And I've experienced that multiple times in my life when I've been able to go out and just hang out with people and just put my arm around them and tell them a bad joke, you know, and make them laugh and just make them smile, you know, and just realize that, you know what, for a moment, they can experience hope. In a moment, they can experience love. For a moment, they can experience grace. In a moment, they can experience true friendship. You know what I mean? Even if it's for just a fleeting moment, it's still a moment in their lives. At the end of the day, they can look back and say, hey, you know, there was a lot of junk in my life, but that one moment, I got to feel hope and love and connection. Because, you know, we don't connect very much with each other anymore. We're all on Netflix, YouTube, Facebook Live, Amazon now. I mean, you can buy anything on Amazon, anything. I even bought a sense of humor on Amazon, but it got returned because it malfunctioned. I don't know why. It didn't give me a better sense of humor, but anyway. But you know, it's just nice when you can sit down with somebody and just break bread with somebody and just get to be in their story for a minute, you know. And it doesn't have to be deep. It doesn't have to be profound. It doesn't have to be, you know, life-shattering. Sometimes biggest waves start with just the smallest ripple, you know, and it's just exciting when I get to keep my ears open and my eyes open and my hands open and just love on people. You know, I had a great conversation with a guy yesterday about this whole Judeo-Christian thing, and you know how his viewpoint, unfortunately, is just, you know, it's been beaten and battered by the church, and you know, I just you know, want him to know that that's not the characteristic of God. You know, sometimes we as humans try to put a broken human description of God on other people, and that's not who God is. God doesn't hate. God loves, you know, and he's always looking for those opportunities to make people's dreams come true, because that's what he loves to do. He loves to make people's dreams come true. How many people in the Bible that Jesus healed had a dream one day of being healed? I'm sure they dreamt of it. I'm sure the guys who couldn't walk dreamt of being able to get up and run around and run with his buddies and walk to the store, walk anywhere, just to be able to walk. And God fulfilled that dream in them by making them walk again. For the guys who were blind, you know, dreaming one day that maybe I could see again. You know, maybe I can see the clouds and see the majestic mountains of the countryside, and to see the people hustling and bustling going by. Jesus fulfilled those dreams by making their vision, by making them see again. You know, and it's just, he was a dream maker, and he just loved doing that. He loved blessing people. He never turned anybody away. He never said, nope, too big, too small, not good enough, not close enough. You know, got to work a little harder. He never says that. He says, ask and it shall be given. And I just love it, you know, because he's just that kind of guy. I mean, he just loves doing that. And as we emulate him, we should be in the business of trying to make people's dreams come true. Try to help them get to the fulfillment of their dreams, you know, whatever that looks like in the situation, whatever, you know, because that's what, you know, that's what God does. That's what he did for me. You know, he made my dreams come true, you know, and I just love being able to help others. May not be the fulfillment. I may not be at that part of the dream, but whatever part God decides to put me in that moment, I'm excited about it. Because I know I'm just a roller in the conveyor belt that's helping somebody move along and get to their dreams. You know, Martin Luther King Jr., you know, one of his greatest speeches ever was entitled, "I Have a Dream." You know, and it was like he spoke plainly about it, you know, about how, you know, racism would be eradicated, and that his children, and that all children would be judged by the content of their character and not the color of their skin. And I think we made long strides in that. I think we have a long way to go. But that dream was laid out with hope. You know, he didn't say, I have a dream, but I don't think it's going to come true. He said, I had this awesome thought, but let me tell you, I don't think it's going to come true. I mean, Martin Luther King Jr. had a dream, and he had a purpose, and he had hope. And that hope gave him meaning and opportunities. And that opportunities defined his life. You know what? You ask anybody and you say Martin Luther King Jr., and I can guarantee you they'll all come up with almost the same response. Love. You know? He loved people. He loved people even when they didn't love him. You know, because he realized that what his calling was and his dream was, and how he had to walk that out to see that come true. You know, on the night before he was assassinated, he gave a profound speech. He's talking about a dream, again, another dream, that God had taken him up to the mountain, and he had got to look over and seeing the promised land. Now that theoretically or hypothetically is the promised land was a land where racism was eradicated, where people of all cultures lived together and appreciated each other and loved that they lived next to each other. And he said, you know, I may not get there with you, but, you know, I know what my dream was, and I want to pass that on to you. And so many people after he was assassinated picked up that torch and kept carrying out that dream, because it was like, even though the man was gone, the dream was still there. And until it comes to fruition, people are still carrying that torch that Martin Luther King lit all those years ago with his speech. And it's just crazy, wonderful. It's powerful. I hope one day when I die, I get to meet the guy and just shake his hand and be like, you know, like I'm in, you know, when you get in front of a rock star, you're like, you know, and just be excited to be in his presence and to really hear his thoughts, you know, and stuff. It's just, I just think he was one of the greatest men of our time, of all time. He was definitely born for a season. He was definitely born for that period in history, because he really took on the power of the hope of a dream. He really took that on. He walked it out. He lived it out. You know, they tried to beat it out of him. They tried to jail it out of him. They tried to shut him up. They tried to do whatever they could, but he knew he had to fulfill that dream that was put inside of him, because if he didn't do it, then so many others were gonna be, you know, in suffering and whatever, because he didn't walk it out, you know. And so it's just crazy. I just love it, you know. I just love how dreams come to us, you know, and how we can act on those dreams with hope, and then once hope happens, then that hopefully will lead into opportunities. And then when those opportunities come, then you start to discover the meaning of your dream and why that is. And then once you discover the meaning and you start walking in that, then you can look back over and see what your life was all about, what your life was meant for. You know, it wasn't meant for struggle. It wasn't meant for heartache. It wasn't meant for destruction. It was meant for a life of abundance, you know, a mighty tree with many branches and leaves. You know, it's just, we weren't created for all this nonsense that's going on in the world today. And it's just disheartening to me. I hate it. You know, I don't watch the news anymore just because it's like, I don't want to hear all the, you know, the nonsense. I want to go home and be like, the world is perfect. It's beautiful. I love it. You know, and I know it's not that way. But hopefully one day it can be that way. And one day it will be that way. One day God will set everything right again. He will. He said he will. Because one day we will have conked our heads hard enough for long enough to realize, oops, we done muddled the mud up a little bit, and he'll come and he'll set things right, and we'll all be, you know, just living in joyous harmony, just hanging out and being with each other. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. I will see you guys in 2 weeks. I'm going on a little trip with my wife next week. I'm excited about that, just to get away and get some us time together. It's always good when you can find somebody to have some us time together. You know, no matter what you're doing, it's, you know, fellowship with people is much greater than sitting at home in the doldrums. You know, it sucks. So go out this weekend, find somebody to hang out with, cheer them up, let them cheer you up. We love you here at the Hillside, and we will talk to you again in 2 weeks. I won't be here next week, but I'll be here in 2 weeks. See you guys.